day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.
Hi, my sweet friends. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, I'm going to be giving you kind of like a health update, kind of like miscellaneous health update things. I know I haven't posted in 2 weeks. I try and post once a week, but some things have happened and I've been moving back to school and just my general mood has been low recently. So I'm finally feeling up to talking to a camera, so let's do it. So I kind of have like 5 different sections or points I want to mention in this video. I think 4 or 5. Anyway, so the first one that I want to mention is my results from my EEG. If you didn't know, I did a EEG little at-home thing for 3 days to test for seizures and seizure activity, specifically epilepsy. I basically have a running list in my head. I don't have one on my computer or written out. I feel like I should, of all the conditions I could possibly have that could be exacerbating my symptoms of POTS. And so we're kind of like basically crossing things off the list, like that's how we're doing stuff. So epilepsy was one of the things that we considered, specifically just seizures, because I convulse when I black out. So yes, we did the EEG, and if you want to know my whole experience with that and everything with that, that is going to be linked below and is always on my channel. But the results for that came in and everything is normal. There is no seizure activity. Normal in the seizure activity aspect is what I mean. So I will not be seeing my seizure neurologist anymore, even though I did like her. She's one of the best doctors that I've seen, one of the nicest doctors I've seen in the past couple months. So I'm sad that I won't be seeing her anymore, but like I need to get on to the next point, you know, like get to the next thing I gotta cross off. So I am not having epileptic seizures. So that is good. That is good for me. But also not like, I say it's good because I'm not having them, but also like it's very frustrating when things come back normal, because then you're like, well, what could it be instead? Like I kind of wish that sometimes it was that, so that we'd have that answer and we'd have like a definitive, yes, this is it, here's the treatment, here's what you do. But unfortunately that's not what happened, but it's okay. So that's my first line of business. All of those tests came back normal. And if you don't know, I also did a heart monitor at the same time, and those tests were not normal. And if you want to know my results for that video is there if you want to go click and watch that to figure out the new condition I've been diagnosed with, but it has nothing to do with why I'm passing out. So we're still trying to figure out that. So one of the things my electrophysiologist, it's basically like a cardiologist, but it deals with like more intricacies of the heart. So I see electrophysiologist here in my college town, and he recommended, based off of my diagnosis of IST, that I first of all see a dysautonomia specialist and an endocrine doctor. So I'm going to talk about those 2 things in this video. So first, I have already seen my endocrinologist. We went and saw one in Houston, or Katy, whichever the one. It's Katy in Houston, almost the same. If you're from Texas, you know. So we went and saw her. She was very nice and I felt very comfortable around her, which is very important for me when it comes to relationships with doctors, because I have a lot of PTSD when it comes to doctors doing the opposite. So I always feel way more comfortable when a doctor is very understanding and kind and will listen to me when I talk. And so I feel like she did all of those things. So basically what she did, she listened to my story, my whole spiel, you know, and she ordered a bunch of round of testing for me. The reason why I was sent to her in the first place was because my electrophysiologist told me that the reasoning why my IST could be triggered, like the reason why I have it, could be because of hormones. And so we discussed this with her and she's like, it could be a possibility. So we're gonna kind of like test the gambit. So that's what I did. So she gave me a bunch of tests to do, like blood work. I don't even remember like almost any of them besides the cortisol test. That one wasn't a blood test though. So she wanted to test my cortisol levels at night for 3 nights in a row. So she gave me like 3 test tubes with cotton swab things. And I basically had to 3 nights in a row, anywhere from 11 to 12 at night. I would have to put these cotton swab things in my mouth and basically soak it with my saliva for like 90 seconds and then put it in a test tube and do that for like 3 nights in a row. And then I took them to the testing lab that I was getting blood work done through her too. And so we went to the blood testing center, and then they tested my cortisol levels in the morning through blood. And for that one, I had to lay down for 20 minutes, like basically almost asleep, like completely still, no one talking to me, like lay down for 20 minutes, and then the nurse takes my blood and all the other blood for all the other tests she ordered a lot of tests. I am not a doctor. So basically all the major endocrine points in your body, I know one of them is like my hormone levels with like my female anatomy. There's one, I think, with thyroid. There's like a few, there's a bunch. So she's basically testing like everything to see if there's any abnormalities or spikes or drops or whatever the case may be. So I have my appointment for that to see the results on September 9th. So I will get my results for that then. So I just wanted to mention that that is in the works and that has been happening. So my electrophysiologist also recommended for me to see a autonomic nervous system doctor who kind of deals with dysautonomia and all the fainting conditions, you know? And so that was our next step, and we have an appointment and a testing day for that, which is the big thing that is daunting. Very daunting. So basically this is a doctor's appointment testing thing that's going to be done to me to kind of see what kind of dysautonomia my body falls into. Dysautonomia is kind of like an umbrella term, and you have a bunch of other conditions underneath the umbrella. One is EDS, one is POTS, one is vasovagal syncope, which is like the blacking out thing I talked about from like seeing blood or needles and stuff like that. So like you can go look it up, more information. This is not a dysautonomia informational video. If you want me to make one, let me know. But it's basically a testing procedure done to see what category you fall under in order to see what you are diagnosed with so we can figure out a treatment plan. However, the doctor that I'm seeing only does testing. He does not do treatments or anything. He only will test and diagnose you. And so after this appointment, we're gonna have to figure out where I go after that, because finding doctors that specialize in stuff like this is very difficult. So I am doing the test that all dysautonomia and POTS patients dread. I'm going to be doing the tilt table test. If you don't know what the tilt table test is, I think I can insert a picture right now of what it kind of looks like, but it's basically a torture device for anyone like me, like who blacks out and stuff, because it's basically a test where you're strapped down to a table that moves up and down to get you to faint, so they can test all of your vital signs and all that jazz. And so it's basically a test where you know you are going to faint and you are going to be incredibly sick. I am not looking forward to this, but it is a test that needs to happen to help me get to other doctors. Unfortunately, with our medical care system currently in the US, doctors only really care about a diagnosis. They want the label on you. They don't really care if you felt this way for a long time. They need the definitive diagnosis, even though there's only one tilt table in basically, I think, the entire state of Texas. And so it's very hard to come by. Anyway, I don't want to go on a huge rant about something like that because I definitely could. But basically, I am going to be doing the autonomic nervous system testing on September 1st. My birthday is September the 4th. And I was a little sad because like this is the only availability that they had was September 1st, and it needs to happen. We're going to be doing this test. I need it to happen so I can get other doors open to me in the medical field, you know? The only opening that they had was September 1st, and I had like this whole ideas planned for my birthday. My past couple of birthdays have not been the best because of COVID. Like literally my 22nd birthday, I was stuck in my apartment because my roommate had COVID. So I have not had the best couple birthdays, and so I was like, we're gonna do a lot of things. I want to go book shopping and I want to go to the movies. Like I want to go do things because I haven't really done things because of how sick I've been. So I'm like, I feel like let's go do like a few things to celebrate my birthday. I really wanted to do that, and I know it might sound superficial, but like I'm really sad that those things have a high probability of just not happening because of this testing. So whenever I do faint and I'm sick, I'm basically bedridden for like the next 4 to 5 days. I will be having my testing Thursday the 1st, and then my birthday is that following Sunday. So any prayers or good vibes you could send my way, I really appreciate it. I'm just going to be probably be laying in bed at my parents' house over that weekend, trying to recover from all the testing. And so yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it, but it's something that needs to happen. And yeah, so I thought I'd like talk about a little bit what other testing is going to be done to me too, because it's not just the tilt table test. The tilt table test is like the biggest, most daunting thing to me. So this testing has 4 individual tests that like combine, you know. The first one is the sweat test. For this test, small plastic capsules are attached to the arms and legs. A machine is used to stimulate the sweat glands and measure sweat production. You may feel slight local burning or tingling during this test. So this will be an interesting test that will be done because I don't sweat. I maybe get a little clammy on me, a little bit like damp, but I've never been able to sweat. Like I've never had like the sweat drips off. Like I've never been able to do that. So we're gonna see how that plays into all of this. The second test is the heart rate during deep breathing test. This test measures your heart rate variation during deep breathing. You'll be asked to breathe deeply and steadily at a steady rate of 6 breaths per minute, guided by a moving green light. So I don't really know what that means, but I guess it's just gonna be like a thing of me deep breathing for a little bit. So I don't know what that entails, but we're gonna figure it out when we get there. So test 3 is the Valsalva test. During this test, you blow into a plastic tube for 15 seconds hard enough to produce a pressure of 40 mm. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, a certain pressure as indicated by a hanging watch that you'll be asked to watch. This test measures your blood pressure and heart rate response to the Valsalva maneuver. I don't know what that means. I think it's like the blow pressure thing that I've seen. Maybe I'll put a picture here, I don't know, but I think that's what it is. I don't know. So yeah, and then the last one is the dreaded tilt table test. And so after lying on a table for the first part of the test, you'll be raised to a nearly upright position. You'll be secured to the table so you will not fall. The test measures your blood pressure and pulse during different positions. If you've had this test done, at least the tilt table test, please let me know and kind of like reassure me, or just tell me how your experience was, because I'd love to know. It says that these tests will determine whether your autonomic nervous system is working normally. The results may help make a diagnosis and to show how you respond to certain treatments. The type of treatment will depend on the diagnosis and your signs and symptoms. It also tells me that I should not be taking my medication, I think like 3 days before the test, so I'm not going to be doing that. And then also gives a bunch of different preparations I need to do before the test as well. Like one funny one that I didn't even think about is like, you can't put any lotion on your skin and do not shave your legs 24 hours before the test. I thought that was funny. I don't know why that's a thing, but that's there. And then the last thing I want to mention is something recent. So we think we have kind of like not figured out, but my mom sent me a link the other day. I was like, I think this is what you have. And so kind of like this test, I feel like will kind of like solidify that if I have this condition. So let me pull it up. So there are many different forms of dysautonomia. If you didn't know, you can go look it up for yourself if you're curious. But we have an inkling that I may have adrenaline dysautonomia. So I kind of want to discuss that for a second. I'm going to leave the link to the website, or both of the websites that I'm reading off of, in the description if you are curious and want to know about any of this stuff. I'm just going to read what the screen says, word for word. It says, dysautonomia, genuine nervous system disorder, involves surges of adrenaline that can result from a variety of triggers. These surges speed up your entire body and give the disorder its name, adrenaline dysautonomia. This sudden dumping of adrenaline, also known as epinephrine, into your body can happen at any time, but frequently happens at night. I have my episodes, they always start in my sleep at night. Triggers consist of anything that normally sends a thrill of some kind through your body. Loud music, getting frightened, or even having a dream in which you're very active. But triggers don't always play a part in the onset of adrenaline dysautonomia. It also talks about how one of the causes of adrenaline dysautonomia is someone who has celiac disease. There are like a few listed. There are more common conditions that prove triggering for dysautonomia include celiac disease, rheumatoid arthritis, Parkinson's disease, diabetes, and multiple sclerosis. So I do have celiac disease, so I feel like that could possibly have an effect, obviously. So the symptoms here is what is getting my mom and I, because I literally have all of these symptoms. So dizziness, fainting, vertigo, chest pain, low blood pressure, nausea, visual disturbances, variable heartbeat, problems with gastrointestinal system, weakness, anxiety, mood swings, tremors, migraines, breathing problems, fatigue, disrupted sleep patterns, problem with concentration and memory, a poor appetite, frequent urination, difficulty regulating temperature, and excessive sensitivity to noise and light. I have literally all of those. I have all of those. So there's a higher probability that I have this, and this tilt table test and all these other testing hopefully will solidify that. And if you want to read more about this condition and all the other stuff about the dysautonomia adrenaline one, that link is down below again if you want to check that out, but I'm kind of done discussing it at this point because I don't know if I have it. I don't want to go too deep into that just in case. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up, you know, like you think you might have something, you might have an answer, and then it kind of like gets dashed based off of testing. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But that's kind of like my health update for y'all. I'm currently in school, back in college. Classes start in 2 days for me. So I am praying and hoping my body does not rebel against me again like last semester, and I'm finally able to finish school. Like, that's all I want to do is get these next 3 months done, and then just one more semester after that, and then I'm done. So I'm hoping my body will listen to me and tell me to calm down and be okay. So yeah, let me know down below if you have any questions for me or anything like that. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I will see y'all soon in my next one. Bye y'all.